put on the virtual camera. Can you see me now? You don't see me? All right. All right, so I think we're live on YouTube. Oh, wait, let me put the Cougar wink on for there. We go. I have a vertical one and I have a I don't know. I think the chats for both will be merged. Anyways, hope everybody's having an amazing Wednesday. We're getting the technologia together. But I hope everybody's having an amazing day out there. It's a beautiful Wednesday in paradise, Central Florida. Very few clouds in the sky, so I'm not complaining too much. And I think at least the horizontal one on YouTube is up, so that's good for me. Let's see if Instagram is getting a signal. I believe they are. So I'm gonna go live on Instagram. All right. So let's get the party started. Hope everybody's having an amazing day and welcome back to Watch Talk Live. I am CQ the Watch Guy with my good friend, retired Watch Guy Jay. How you doing today, Jay? Hey, staying icy, man. That's all we can do, man. Even in the heat of the summer, we got to keep it ice cold. And just remember, if you need truly independent watch advice, go over to cqthewatchguy.com where you can see all my services and reach out, and I can help you with all your independent watch advice. Today, we're going to do a little bit of Watch Advice Wednesday. I found a few good questions on Reddit. So we're going to scroll on Reddit, check out some watch news, see what the chat is saying, and then we'll keep things going. Second time watches, what's going on? OJ the Juice. My favorite watch guy, OJ, is in the chat. Wait, I don't think we could hear you, brother. Let me get you. You want to speak real quick? Yeah, I don't think we can hear you. Oh, we can hear you. Just burped, but let's see. Say something now.
Hello, Goldfinger. Hello, OJ the Watch Guy.
Oh, you're there, but you're
Did that
glitching
work?
a little bit.
Okay.
You're glitching. Wait,
I
say something now.
didn't do anything else. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're just kind of super.
Can you hear me now?
Just 1 second. Maybe you want to jump out and come back in, bro. All right, guys. Anyway, shout out to OJ, the OG of the watch game, who has started back with OJ. We're live on YouTube and then pumping in the Instagram side. We can't do a collaboration as we traditionally was. Well, let's schedule a day, and I'd love to have you on the YouTube channel. So on Instagram, we usually have just a few followers, but on YouTube we get up to 20 or 30 people live, OJ. So I would love to do a stream with you, but it won't be. We'll have to do it through my clandestine operation here. Let's see if we can get Jay back in the room. What's happening, Goldfinger? No sound. Are you getting sound from me, Goldfinger? What's going on, Ryan? What's happening? Hope everybody's having an amazing day. Just gonna tech work out really quickly, and then we'll get it go. Love you too, OJ Watley. First of all, let me pull up OJ's page really quickly. If you guys don't know Second Time Watches, you should check out Second Time Watches. Very, very good watches. Probably one of the best secondary dealers out there. But OJ Watley himself, formerly the founder of Watch You Want, which became Watchbox and all these things, is one of the originators of doing product-based content on YouTube with the What's in the Box series. A lot of people may have known if you were a big YouTube fan back in the day. So OJ has restarted the series. So I invite you guys, go check it out. He's always opening up really, really cool stuff. And he is one of the original watch dealers and people who really had impactful movements on the space. So awesome guy. If you're in Florida, check out OJ. Tell him CQ sent you. He might give you a few things off. I don't know. Maybe not. He might give you a hat or something like that. All right, so we have Jay. Let's see what's going on, Jay.
I'm here. John Callahan's in here too. What's going on, John Callahan? Kamal. Wow,
Yeah,
everybody's
you're
here.
you're still really
Everybody's-
choppy there, brother. What's going on, Mr. John Callahan? All right, we're gonna start the show without Jay and let Jay kind of figure out his situation there because he's a little bit too burpy. Anyway, shout out John Callahan, shout out chat. Let's get it going. So today we're doing Watch Advice Wednesday. So drop in the chat. Let me know any watch advice you would like us to cover or advice you want to give the people. Let the people learn from your experiences. Shout out to Ryan McGraw. He received his Isotope and Revolution Mercury today. This piece is sick. Let's pull that up. And Mr. Producer Primal says, howdy, my Pink Gators, my Detroit player Tims for my hooligans in Brooklyn. Hey, I love Producer Rimal is a most well-rounded producer you could hope to have, and I'm happy that he's on board. All right, Isotope Revolution, Mercury. Oh yeah, so this beauty came out, I think maybe a few months ago is when these first were announced. I might be wrong. Limited to 150 pieces with a beautiful kind of mirror finish all over this watch. I can imagine you're gonna have a lot of good times wearing this watch. So congrats on this piece. How does it feel on the wrist? How big is it? 38 by 38 millimeters. So it's a really nice size. All right, we're gonna get Jay back in the room here. Let's see if we can get the technology working. All right, wait. Can you say something?
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you a little bit better. We'll rock with it.
Trying to speak silently or less.
No, it's just really burping today. I don't know. Yeah, it might not work to be honest. Let me see something. All right.
Hold on, I'm gonna restart my phone. I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
All right, so Jay's gone again, but he will be back. Producer Vimal has an idea for tomorrow. Singapore 60th anniversary special edition watches. Producer Vimal, I claimed it yesterday that he was going to be producer of the week, and I think he's going to be producer of the week because I think that is a really, really good idea. So tomorrow, Thursday, July 24th, which is the 60th anniversary of the country of Singapore. And as you say that, Mr. Juraju is in Singapore himself arrived. So we're going to do Singapore limited edition watches, and they do have some amazing, amazing pieces. So we will chomp on that for tomorrow. Great idea. I wanted to talk a little bit about this. So Mark Kuzlarek over at Hodinkee has officially named what I was calling the Pika Blue. This is a Rolex Daytona 126518 LN with that beautiful turquoise blue dial, yellow gold case on Oysterflex strap, excuse me. This is now the Alcaraz watch in commemoration for Carlos Alcaraz, who won the Roland Garros tournament in France. Look at that smile. He has what I call the Pika Blue on, and this is now the Alcaraz. And I will say, out of all the watches that came out, this is still the one that I would chase for the most. With the, I forgot what we're calling this one, not the John Mayer. We had the Ric Flair and then the Blue Superman there. Those would be my favorites. So Diraj says National Day is August 9th. So let me know, Vimal. Do you want to do it now or do we do it on August 9th? I'll let the producer figure out the proper way to do it. What do we think about the new name for this Daytona? I really wanted Pika Blue to hold, but I do think Alcaraz is a great tennis player and he's doing some amazing things. So I think it's a befitting name, and there's nothing wrong with having a Daytona tied into like a living sports legend. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. I just love this watch so much. I'll be honest with you. All right, let's get into some questions off Reddit. Let's go with the first one. Which one are you choosing? Tudor Black Bay Chronograph, um, Inter Miami edition. I forgot what what the designation. The pink one, the pink Black Bay Chrono, a bad girl and a beautiful Grand Seiko with a good dial. I forgot which variation dial, and whatever I say now will be incorrect. Out of these two, this is a very weird trio to have to pick from, I must admit. And I'm trying to not just go back girl immediately. It really depends the situation here, but I think for me, I go back girl, then Grand Seiko, then the Tudor. You guys let me know what you guys think in the chat. Let me do some things on the back end really quickly. Ooh, and John Callahan from Teddy Ballister Watches in Cleveland, amazing guy, says this is the Cherry Blossom. And John Callahan is such an amazing lover of independent watches and a great watch guy as well. Of course, he would spot this out. So the Cherry Blossom, the Black Bay Pink Chrono, the back girl. I think we got Jay back. Let's see if we could get the technology to work. Is it because I'm running too many streams, you think?
Like,
Nah, it's not even.
process. Right. It's so bad.
Try again, say something. Yeah, it's not really coming through. I don't know if it's just for me, for the audience as well. So I'm guessing.
I don't know. I'm really how we've been doing it, so I don't know if it's because of the multiple displays or not.
Yeah, I might be playing. All right, so I think you're off today, Jay, and we'll attempt to I'll attempt a solo show, and then we'll figure out the technology tomorrow. All right, peace. All right, W in the chat for Jay. Old name, old number, old no name says I take the Grand Seiko. I could wear it with pretty much anything. Duraj has a request, a short section sometime soon on blacked out watches, tribute to the late great Ozzy Osbourne, who we lost last night. R.I.P. R.I.P. the Prince of Darkness himself, Ozzy Osbourne, and I think that is a great. Sorry, I want to just put up a nice picture of him. That is a great idea, Duraj. So we're gonna do a blacked out watch episode for Mr. Osbourne. It's where I was kidding the Allens. It's like, why would I be so, but it's like, hey, you saw the reality show, you listened to the music, and he was a very inspirational person. So all blacked out watches come in tribute to Ozzy. And I think the Grand Seiko is the winner here from the chat. I don't went back girl, but I think the Grand Seiko might be the winner from the chat. Tudor is not getting the love that some would want it to have. All right, next up we have a beautiful Long and Stone Saxonia Moon Phase date versus a OG. What's the reference on this? This is a tough one. So this is in the style of like the 5712 of the old Neptune. You got the Power Reserve Moon Phase date in second hand. Really cool, interesting, handsome watch, but it's hard to put it up against this beauty. I think I go Long and Sone all day in this particular toss-up that they're throwing to us. Let me just load up a couple more for you guys. All right, beautiful. Yeah, on this one, I'm gonna say Long and Sone. I do love this Patek, but I think I'm just quirky and I like this watch. In a modern day, if you've not been head over heels for this, I think you just get so much wearability out of this piece. I think Long and Sone is a brand that still gives just so much great value. You can get a lot of good things there. Hello, Strand. Welcome to the chat. Says Ozzy's Daytona probably ends up at Philips within 3 years. I dare say if they did a I don't know how big of a watch guy Ozzy is, but if they did an auction for his things and included some good watches, the same way the Elton John auction did, I could see some really, really interesting results coming. So if there was a particular Daytona, if there was a particular Daytona that he really, really enjoyed and he really wore a lot and there's a lot of stage time, I think definitely gonna you're gonna see some interesting results on that one. All right, let's pull up another. And what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts? If let's say if you're a family and you're well to do, you have everything's in order, and it comes up that you know you're somebody passed away, they love the watches, you don't love watches, but there's somebody who have a big aura about them, people know about them, they have that celebrity status, you don't care for watches. Would it be a bad thing to auction the watch, maybe send the funds to charity or something like that, get it in the hands of somebody who really appreciated it? Or do you keep that just in the family collection and maybe one of the descendants end up being a watch person? That's an interesting question. I think, unfortunately, a lot of people have to think about all the time. And I know sometimes we see unique watches pop up in auctions, and we're like, man, if that was us, I would never sell this watch, or I'd make sure this stays in the family. But things happen, and do we want the watch? Do we care if the watch is just in a safe and never is enjoyed, or do you want the watch to be enjoyed at all, or is it just a material thing and I shouldn't even talk about what I'm talking about? I don't know. You guys tell me. But R.I.P. to the legend, Sir Ozzy Osbourne. Yeah, man. May he rest in peace, man. Amazing person. Touched millions and millions and millions and millions of people's lives. So we'll do a blackout episode there. This Elon Son is going to win this matchup here. Let's look for another good one from Reddit. And the question is this Vacheron Overseas 2nd Gen Dual Time a good go anywhere, do anything watch, or a piece for a one watch collection? And I dare say that this is a perfect watch. And if you only had to have one piece or something that you'd wear for a lot of time, you just needed to have great versatility, great usability, what more could you want in this beautiful VC here? Maybe you go for a different color, but I think this is super wearable. You can have a lot of fun with it. Hellshan says you absolutely auction it. Use the money to fund the foundation. I agree with you. I think that's the way. I think as watch people, we see these cool watches and we're like, oh man, you shouldn't sell that. Or I told my family not to do it. But at the end of the day, if they don't like watches and you tell them to keep it, it's just gonna end up in a drawer somewhere until somebody eventually sells it through whatever circumstance. Get it in the market, use the money for a foundation, use the money to do something and help the family out if that's what's needed to be done. But get the watch in the hands of somebody who's going to really appreciate it. Somebody who buys an Ozzy Osbourne watch, or people who bought the Elton John pieces, I'm sure maybe they did a little rooms and dressed it up really nice, but no matter what, there's a lot of pride and passion and caretaking that's going to go on for those pieces. I think that's a really, that's the way that you get it done. But yeah, I think this VC Overseas is a good go anywhere, do anything watch. And I still think VC is not a brand that I talk about every day. But when we talk about, hey, I just want one watch to wear and enjoy and have some fun. I don't want to break the bank, relatively speaking, but I want a luxury watch. VC Overseas are just very easy answers for me, especially the older generations. I think you can find great character in these pieces, and again, they're not gonna break the bank. Let's see what they're going for. All right, so we got some good category suggestions. We're gonna do a blacked out watch episode for Ozzy Osbourne Memoriam, and then we're gonna do a Singapore special edition episode for the anniversary of Singapore, which I think is a very good idea from producer Ramal. Look at the prices you could pick up 2nd Gen Overseas for right now. Come on, let's make it US. Just listen to Silver Menace and do me a favor, upvote, like, and subscribe. You guys are the best, and even though I'm doing it solo, I'll keep doing it just for you guys. All right, so in the U.S., the cheapest right now for black dial, $59.50 is a great price. You go into the white dials, there's a little bit of a jump, 17, 18,000. I still think that's not too crazy for what you get. And if you want to have some fun and get the piece on the strap, the titanium, I think 17-ish is not a bad deal to get a unique piece in your collection that you're gonna have a lot of fun watching and wearing as well. I think it's really cool. Chrono 24 with all the ads. All right, let's pull out another one from the Reddits because there's always some cool questions there. Let's see what else. All right, sorry, they had a little bit of internet. All right, we got a nice little state of the collection here. I think these are all a little bit on the lower end side, but these are all really, really cool stuff that I would rock. Sorry, I had another one here pulled up. All right, while I do that in the background, let's pull up another thing really quickly. Hellstrom has a bold prediction. In the next 3 to 5 years, the Flex will be one outstanding wristwatch that you daily and maybe a couple mid-tier fun watches. Big collections will be out of fashion. I actually do think that's a really good prediction. I think a lot of people I speak to are in that situation. And even in the Reddit world, a lot of what you see are people asking, what's next? Should I consolidate everything and just go into, one piece or something like that? And I think that's kind of not a bad idea. I think right now we went through a phase where people were buying everything they could get their hands on, and now we're in the phase of people want intent with their purchase. They want a true connection with the watches that they're wearing. That's why you're seeing independent watches have a great spurt of energy and passion, because you can connect so deeply with independent watchmakers in various price points. If you you want something under 5,000, you could go into the Christopher Ward family. You could interact with Mike Pearson and that team. They're always flying around doing things. They're very community focused. You go up in a little bit higher end on the Mosier side, you can interact with the Milan brothers. You can speak with Claudio. You can really get some special things going. You can feel like you're buying into something. It's not just like my money is being spent and it's going to nowhere. So that's why independents have really taken a hold. But I do think a lot of people went through the past few years and bought a lot of watches that they really didn't want. They just bought them because other people said they should buy them, and they just amassed a lot of pieces in the collection. So what I'm finding with a lot of collectors, they're doing exactly what you're stating here. Maybe they're not just going on to one piece, but they're going on to one heavy hitter piece and a few other pieces that are more fun watches that we can enjoy and be a little bit versatile with, but they're getting one solid big boy Patek, big boy complication or something like that, and everything else is a little bit fun. I think people are realizing that in the watch hobby, it's so easy to love everything, and if you have the capital, it's easy to buy everything if you're in the right situation. But then you're not wearing it, and then you're just kind of amassing a bunch of items that cost a lot of money that you really can't build a connection to. So I think a lot of people are doing that and reflecting on their collections, and that's something you should always do, to really just make sure you're enjoying what you're wearing. At the end of the day, you work hard for your money, or somebody's working hard for your money. And if you're spending it on watches, you should really enjoy what you're putting on the wrist. It shouldn't be something where, I'm just doing it I just have it just to have it. You should really have some intention there, and I think you're correct. A lot of people are going into that phase, and you're just let's liquidate. Let's not even liquidate. Let's consolidate. Let's get into let's get into something that you like, because you often see people who have collections like this on Reddit, right? where it's, hey, I have my older Day-Date, I have my Batgirl, I have my Seamaster 300, I have a bunch of good things here, but what am I actually enjoying? And you got to sit down and say, like, I could combine all of this into one pretty solid watch or two pretty solid watches. We figure out what has sentimental value, and it goes from me just wearing one or two watches out of a 10, right, or 10 or 12 watch collection into wearing one or two watches all the time of the watches that I own. All No Name has seen. I've seen a lot of this is my collection videos lately where they say don't wear most of them, kills the vibe, really, like they're not connected to them. I agree. We see a lot of these videos where it's like, hey, here's my collection, but I only wear one or two watches. And again, you kind of, especially in the past few years, we've ended up in the situation where if you're somebody who enjoys Rolex, Patek, AP, even Vacheron and Lange & Söhne, and you get the call and you have the expendable income, it becomes very hard for you to say no on that purchase, right? Do you say no on a Daytona? Do you say no on a Day-Date? Do you say no on an Odysseus? Do you say no on an overseas Blue Dial if you're able to get one? Do you say no on a 222? And what happens is you're like, well, I don't want to say no. I don't want my SA to like be mad at me. I don't want them to not keep me in mind for the next piece. So you end up saying yes, 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 and then you just end up with a bunch of watches that you like, oh man, I forgot I even have this. And I know many collectors who've forgotten watches that they've owned or had in their collection. So I think it's very important to get some type of strategy. And that, most of what I do beyond like the brokering and helping people buy and sell watches is really just about helping them go over their collecting strategy and really focus in their mind on how they want to collect. Why do we collect? Why do you collect watches? What is important? Are you somebody who just enjoys aesthetics? Are you somebody who wants complications, heritage? You should really figure out why you're collecting watches, and it just makes it so much more of a fun, enjoyable experience. I'm telling you, because at a certain point, if you have the capital, you can get pretty much anything. And if you just get everything that you see that's just flashy, or the new article comes out, or CQ the Watch Guy tells you to buy it, you just end up with a bunch of watches that you could care less about, and you end up wearing, the Seamaster 300 you bought when you got your first paycheck, or your first big, commission check or something like that. It just has so much sentimental value to you that that's the only watch that you actually enjoy. So I think connection is very, very important. But yeah, I do see a lot of people really focusing a little bit more on consolidating, getting pieces that they're a little bit more connected to versus the volume that a lot of people were chasing for a little bit. It's not as fun, if that makes sense. D-Rod says you need to enjoy the collection. 2 pieces or 20, it's a personal choice. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. All right, let's see if we can. Let's pull up some SGX watches. So I saw this world timer. And it's funny, I'm bringing it up because it's not only a blacked out watch, but it is a Singapore special edition. So I said, let me pull it up. And it's the Bulgari World Timer that I love. So we have a new Singapore exclusive Octo World Timer, blacked out case with the red Singapore and red accents there on the 24-hour scale, which I think is just a really, really fun watch. All right, sorry, we got some stuff going on in the back end here. All right, Hellshine says along its own Odysseus white gold Jaeger LeCoultre sector dial and a pristine Seiko Willard proof would be a great flex, and all would get worn by me. I agree. That's a great 3-piece collection right there, because the Odysseus, nobody can complain about that. I do enjoy it on the white gold. I think you could have a lot of fun, especially if you put some different straps on there. Let's see if you got. There you go. Especially you put some different straps on there. I think you can really, really have some fun with the Odysseus. I did like a gray strap. I didn't even do like a navy strap. I'm a crazy guy though. But I think you have this piece. You wear it anytime you want. It gives you the for me, it gives me all the complicated things that I need, all the great movement, aesthetics, and architecture that I need. It's a watch guy's watch, but it's so sporty. It's still wearable. It's still something that you can really have fun wearing and not take it too serious, even though it's a serious piece of watchmaking. And then the same thing really goes for the JLC Sector dial. It's a serious watch, but there's just this hint of fun and whimsy to it. Now, I personally would go with the World Timer version because I like the World Timer, but any of the sector variations are pretty good. And the price point that you get these watches at right now in the secondary market are insane. $89.75 for this. I'm sure you could get this under 8 if you push a little bit hard. But beautiful watch. You can have a lot of fun with it. You can wear it, and even if you just go to time only, I think it's a really just a nice, clean, wearable piece. Classy watch guy's watch, but something like Hellshan said, you could really get the wear time. Now let's pull up the Seiko Willard Proof because that one is not coming to the top of my head. Let's see if Chrome 24 has it. All right, so I'm guessing it's just a Seiko diver or a variation, a vintage variation. And again, a watch that you could do anything, go anywhere, beat to hell, and bring it right back. So that's a really good choice. What's going on, Duke of Rissington? Oh, I think because I have two different chats going, two different streams. All right, what's going on, Julius Caesar? What's happening, Tan? Duke of Rissington, I welcome you, sir. Duke of Rissington says, I need your thoughts on the Manta Ocean King. Really love this iteration play on the Super K Submariner. Also, they have a superb bracelet, proper tier, micro brand. I can't see the last thing that you're saying there. From the U.S. chair. So let's pull that up for Duke of Rissington, the Manta Ocean King. I hope everybody's having an amazing day. Retired Guy J is taking a retired vacation, a retired day, I guess, whatever you call it. As you get the tech fixed, and I want to thank everybody from Instagram. We got 2 different streams on YouTube going. The technology is great. My camera is out, but hey, I'm back again. All right, let's pull up the Manta Ocean King for the Duke, Sir Duke of Rissington. All right, so nice diver styles. Did he put a particular color that he liked? Which color, Duke of Rissington, do you enjoy? So we got aluminum bezel. Oh, wait. Let's roll things back here. So we could get a black with ceramic bezel, a blue dial with aluminum bezel, or the turquoise style with the black ceramic bezel. Let's just look at the black real quickly. $25.50 retail price, 40.5 case, made in the U.S., which is interesting. Well, based in the U.S. I gotta be careful with when I say made in the U.S. There we go. Let's get a nice video shot. So from the videos and pictures, these look really interesting. I'm a big fan of divers of all walks of life, so I'm willing to give everything a shake. And I think at $25.50, if the bracelet feels good, I like it. I probably would go. If I go turquoise, I feel like I want to go turquoise, but just I've been seeing so many turquoise things out there. But between the black and the turquoise, I think I'd go. Duke of Rissington said they're Swiss-made. Companies based in St. Louis, Missouri. Oh, awesome. Hit us up, Manta. Let me see if I could go. I could go visit you out in St. Louis. I got some friends out there. Ryan McGraw says he goes for the turquoise style. Oh, let's see. They got the SkyQuest. They got some GMTs as well. Oh, these are cool. I like the gilt style, the vintage gold numerals and things like that. Very, very interesting. I say thumbs up, man. At this price point, I'm not shooting anybody. For divers, the one thing, if it's a diver I've never held, it's all about how does that bracelet and case feel. Something to me, a diver needs to have a solid field, and I've held inexpensive divers at felt great. I've held expensive divers that felt a little bit cheaper. So to me, it's all about how that wrist feel is for a diver. Once it's a decent movement, once, and also got a good click on the bezel, once those things are good, and it feels good on the wrist. If you're not pushing past 4,000, it's really not much for me to complain about, right? The loom on this looks good. It's a ceramic bezel. The case looks good. I'm sure it's a decent enough movement in there. So there's really, I'd rock this watch, I want to feel it though. Let's go to St. Louis, guys. Let's go. Let's go down to Missouri. All right, let me know any other. Got too many tabs here. Any other this or that you guys want me to pull out? So this is an interesting article. I feel like it's this is old news though, so I'm not sure. So Hodinkee just dropped a new article. Business News: Rolex is now certifying watches that are 2 years old in a change to Rolex CPO rules. When Rolex CPO was first introduced, watches had to be at least 3 years old before they could be entered into the CPO program. The thing in there is that you don't want the impression of a 2025 watch that you in theory could buy from an authorized dealer, then be available at that same authorized. In theory, you could buy it at an authorized dealer at retail price, but then you don't want that same watch to be available on the CPO side for a much more inflated secondary market price. Now they're slimming that time up a little bit from 3 years to 2 years. I think it's a little bit interesting. It's good for everybody, to be honest with you. I think Rolex CPO is a time situation until the prices get to a more reasonable price, and it's going to be dealer by dealer by dealer. But I think the more watches that can be qualified under the CPO program, the better, because I like that there's a bigger pool of super verified watches out there. And I just think that Rolex is not going to give us, they're not going to do the stolen watch register. They're not going to do a lot of things. So from the authenticity standpoint, that's what I really love about CPO. From the price standpoint, I don't really like it. But what's happening now is you're seeing a lot of CPO pieces. Somebody buys CPO, then they sell it to a secondary dealer. That secondary dealer normalizes the price of that watch, if that makes sense, and they're going to sell that CPO watch maybe a few $100 more than just a normal secondary market Rolex watch that they have. But at least that CPO piece does give you that little extra piece of confidence in the watch. So you're going to see that kind of get into the market a little bit more, and eventually 2-3 years from now, CPO dealers will just be a little, maybe 10-15% more depending on the model, versus now where you're seeing just some drastically big ranges there. Duke of Brissington says he loves the blue dial aluminum bezel on the Manta. Helshan says St. Louis has some great Italian restaurants on the hill. Tons of family-owned places. My buddy Pat Maroon's wife's family owns Charlie Ghetto's. Great food. All right, I think sounds like a St. Louis trip is in the works. I want to email the folks at Manta. Let's see if they'll I don't know. Just let me see some watches. You don't even gotta fly me out. Just let me see the watches. Don't let me go there and knock on the doors and they're like, who is this guy? So yeah, I don't think this is any kind of big news, but Rolex CPO is something that I watch very closely, because again, it's something that it's gonna be an overall positive thing, even though right now it just seems a little funky because of the pricing. But as things kind of flesh themselves out, it's gonna be a really good resource for those who don't want to do the nitty gritty. They don't want to hire CQ the watch guy. They're not savvy like a lot of people here in the chat who are going to weed out good dealer from bad dealer, good watch from bad watch, and do all these extra things that we do because we're used to doing it and we're kind of knee deep in the hobby. So I think that's why CPO is very, very important. All right, let's see what else we can go here. This is the first solo show I've done in quite a while. Usually when I'm doing a solo show, I'm reacting to the auction results. All right, so let's pull up another one from Reddit. I could only keep one watch. Which would it be? A nice Omega automatic Seamaster loaded vintage piece, or a Seiko Grand Seiko with the dated. You know what I'm gonna say, guys. This is cool and all, but give me this. It's almost a pipe hand. It's not a full pipe hand, but that's one that I would go for. All right, let me see if we can get something a little bit more juicier. All right, there we go. Now my old list is popping up. All right, what watches to round out the rest of my collection? I think this is a good question for us to chime in on, guys. So we have a Grand Seiko Snowflake or something there. You got a Cartier Santos de Cartier, a Omega Speedmaster Professional Snoopy 50th anniversary. On the bottom row, you have a Vacheron Overseas Blue Dial, third gen. You have a Royal Oak Gray Dial that looks to be the smaller one, because this is a 41 and this definitely looks to be smaller. Then you got a Root Bear GMT on an Oyster, and then you have a Lange 1 Rose Gold. What other watches would you put to fill in these 3 slots? You know what I'm gonna say, but I want to see what you guys are thinking. I think for me, you already got a Lange Sonnet, you already got a Vacheron, you already got an AP. I'm gonna naturally say we need a Patek, we need some type of indie. Cheers, Duke. We need some type of indie there in this collection. I think easily you could fit in. You could do a nice world timer from Patek. I think would be interesting. I think if you do indies, I could see a Moja, I could see a Parmigiani, I could see a Laurent Ferrier here. You do seem like you trend a little bit more on the sporty side. So I would say definitely has to be something a little bit more on the sporty side, but definitely a Patek, and I dare say like a Streamliner, but then it's almost too many things on the bracelet. Right? Is that very, very tough? Duke of Bristol, thanks for your opinion. Of course, Duke, I'm here to answer your question. Honestly, guys, I love to talk watches all day. That's what I do for work, but it's also that's what I do for enjoyment. This little hour and a half out of my day, usually with my co-host Jay, this is what I do to just kind of talk to the people, talk to you guys, talk watches, but also decompress. It's like my midday decompress. So you start the day, you go through all the crazy work stuff, and at the end of the day, there's a lot of work stuff going on. But I love just, nerding out with you guys, talking about some good stuff. All right, Mr. Blackwell, salute. Jay, what's going on? What's going on, Mr. Blackwell? Hellshine says he'd sell the top row and buy a Felipe Pekulik and then stop. Too many great choices to sit in a box. Ooh, that, if we do the math here, that actually makes sense too, because these two definitely give you more than 20-ish. So you could actually give you, which Felipe Pekulik piece would you go for? So what Hellshine's saying is you delete this top row and you just end with one more watch and give you a 5-piece collection with the Overseas Blue dual time 3rd generation, the Royal Oak, the 38 millimeter. Is it 38? Well, maybe it's 39. The small Royal Oak Gray Dial, the Root Bear GMT on the Oyster. Then you got the Lange & Söhne there on the strap. So you got 3 bracelet pieces, 1 on the strap. Everything's a little bit more classic. So I think actually that's a great suggestion, that if you wanted to solve these top 3 and you put in a Felipe Pekulik, but the question is, which Pekulik are you picking? Pick the Pekulik. I'm gonna pull out some of their watches here, and we can do a pick. I know which one I'll pick. You tell me which one you'll pick. The Duke of Brissington is, my vote is for a higher end Ming. That would be such a cool indie to have in his collection. I do agree with that as well. I think a higher end Ming, like one of the new World Timers or the chronographs, would be really good and would fit. That's actually a good idea, Duke of Brissington. I think the World Timer from Ming would fit into this collection really well. It's a little bit sporty, but it still has a little bit of it can feign for a dressier piece. And I think from this collection, this is a person who probably wears everything on the bracelet or the sailcloth more than the leather strap. I could be completely wrong, but I don't think I am. I'm just gonna pull up that Ming World Timer. Rich Buddy says Patek needed. I do agree, Rich Buddy. We need a Patek. We need a Patek in there. But I could see this World Timer fitting in that collection really, really well. I think this fits in there good. I do think a Paddock needs to be in there. Let's recoup on Hillshan's. Sorry, I got too much windows here. Hillshan's idea to sell the top row and just add a Felipe Pekulik piece so you have a 5-watch collection. Which Pekulik do you pick? I would be between a moon phase. I'd probably do the moon phase 1 meteorite or the FPSK 25, which was his really nice skeletonized piece that came out earlier this year. But the meteorite dial moon phase from Felipe Pekulik is a really good piece. You get a little bit of skeletonized action there, showing you some of the gears of the movement. You have a 3D moon phase which I believe is done out of meteorite no matter what anyways, and then you have this really nice meteorite dial, this heat blued hands here that aren't perfectly blue, so you get a little blue, a little purple, a little red. I just think a watch like this slips right in to this collection. If you said, hey, we're gonna keep this, we're gonna eliminate this top row here and put the FP as a 5th watch, I think that's a winner. That is really, really good suggestion. And this watch, I forgot the retail, but this is going to be under 20 or right around thereabouts. It's not going to be 30,000 or anything like that. So you really could probably sell these 2, but definitely sell those 3 and get in to that watch. That's a really, really good choice. But this would be the one that I go for. Felipe Pekulik does such good stuff. If it's not a watchmaker you guys have checked out, definitely one you should put on your radar. But I'd say a Ming would fit in here well. Which Paddock, Rich Buddy? Which Paddock would you put? Shout out Pack Eldridge. Hello, CQ still in stealth mode, lurking and learning. You're killing it solo. Watch Guru. I appreciate it, Pack. I'm always nervous to do solo shows just because I have ADHD and I can go on just full blown rant. So when there's so many different things to get me distracted, like all the windows here open, I get nervous. But I'm glad you guys are enjoying the stream, and I hope I'm not too boring. I feel like even though I'm long-winded, I can be entertaining. So that's all I aim to be, just to give you a little bit of a break during the day. But I hope, Pack, you're having a great day and everybody else is as well. I just want to pull up some Paddocks because I need to figure out what Paddock should go in the collection here. I don't know why I feel like a world timer works. That might just be my love of world timers, but let me just get the whole Paddock collection here, and you guys can write what you guys think should be added. And come on, Paddock. All these websites are just getting crazier and crazier. All right, there we go. So let's start out with the Calatrava collection. What do we put in this collection right here? I feel like we need something a little bit complicated, right? A 6119 or a 6196P. If you could get the 6196P, that's the obvious answer. But if that is not immediately available, Hillshan says 5035P. I think that's a good choice as well. That would be this beauty. I mean, would be a stunner. Which, platinum. No platinums out there. But I do think I love a good world timer. Oh, look at this salmon one. Come on. Oof. If you could swing this, I mean, this for 34 is like insane as well. I love this watch. The 5035 is the first annual calendar to ever be serially produced, which was invented by Patek Philippe in 1996. Perpetual calendars existed, but Mr. Stern wanted to create something that was complicated, but a little bit more accessible in terms of price point. I believe that's the story. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyways, I think the 5035 horologically, historically, is an important watch. And if you're a watch collector who wants to have a good variety of pieces that are horologically important, I think a 5035 is a great watch to get into your collection that has that importance. And it's just it's a model series that is a couple generations old. The 5146 is a more modern generation, and a lot of people just aren't looking, which is why you can have a salmon dial variation of this watch available for 34,000. Where if this was a much more modern Patek, this would be like an auction worthy piece. This is really cool. Hellshine likes the gray dial platinum, which I think is excellent as well. That salmon just kind of caught me off tilt. But this is what he's speaking about. And again, you can just get these at such great prices. Or this is a white gold one. Are there no platinums on the market right now? Or all the platinum? Who bought up all the platinums 5035s and didn't let me know first? But it's a gray with a platinum dial. There's a ton of these salmon dials. But there's also the black dial platinum, which I think is a beautiful piece. Either way, I think any of those, Hellshine is on the money with all his suggestions today, would fit really nicely in this collection, especially if they're looking to go for something a little bit more with the vintage aesthetic. I think a 5226G would be really good, but I think we need to go complicated because he has a lot of time-only stuff there, and I think we should get complicated. So let's go to our collections. He says Swiss Watch Expo has a 5035 piece. I want to pull that up. But I personally, Rich Buddy says 5196 or annual calendar. I agree. So, you could do 5212. You could do 5212 very, very easily. Does he have any gold? I don't think he's a gold person. He has he does have gold. He has allowance on it. So he's okay with gold. So 5205 wouldn't be bad, but I would probably do, oh man, this is one of the harder decisions I had to make all day. Even breakfast was easier to figure out than this. Okay. I know what I do. Let me look one more time. If you're a world timer guy, you go 5935A. If you're not a world timer person, then I would suggest you go 5212 or even a 5172 chronograph. Because he looks like he's interested in chronographs. I think, either variation, by the way. I think hall pieces that are timeless, you can have a lot of fun wearing them. A great thing about this collection, everything here is pretty versatile. So I feel like if somebody puts a focus on getting wearability and making sure there's a good rotation, but I think you put a Ming in there. I think you put a nice Patek in there. Older 5036 I like, or just get this. Just get this. Or if you get swing a 6196P, that is the one you're doing. Let's go to Swiss Watch Expo really quickly, see what they have over there for 5031, 5036s, and you guys let me know if there's any other particular things you want to talk about before we head out today. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in on the solo show, and hope you guys are having an amazing Wednesday and week so far. I know I am. 5036P. Tan says I like a brigade tradition, like the 7057, simple but nice, very different dial from the others. I think that is a great suggestion as well, Tan. I don't know, the Swiss Watch Expo doesn't have it, do they? There we go. So let's pull that up, and then we'll look at the brigade that Tan suggested. I think this is good. So this is a white gold 5036. So I'm not seeing a platinum one on Swiss Watch Expo, but honestly, you're a bracelet person, right? Where's the thing? Get the 5036 on the bracelet, man. The price isn't too crazy, and it fits a bracelet vibe, and it's a pretty cool piece. All right, let's go to Chrono. Tan suggested that he throw in a brigade tradition 7057 in the mix. And I think as well, that is a really good suggestion because it gives you something a little bit different, a little bit unique. Would you go steel or would you go gold, Tan? I personally would go for a gold one like this. gold, rose gold, black subdial, gorgeous watch. Again, like what I just love right now in the world of watches, if you're willing to open up that third eye, right? If you're willing to say, hey, I'm okay applying a little bit of risk here. I'm gonna get a watch that I know I'm not gonna get most of my money back. There are some amazing, amazing values like this Brigade Tradition, rose gold of 14,000. This one is in Hong Kong, so of course, but still even. Okay, so it's in Hong Kong. 10% tariffs is not even that crazy or something like this. So this is the $1,400, right? So I'm sure something like that you can negotiate a little bit. You can split it. Even if I ended up at 15.5 for this, I still think that's a great watch. This one's naked, but still, it's a modern Brigade. It's not something that I need the boxing papers for, especially if I'm going for. I'm just falling in love with this. I'm sorry, guys. You guys are just watching me fall deeply in love. I'm about to fly to Hong Kong for this watch because I just think it is beautiful. But I do think Tan is super right that this watch would actually fit really well into a collection like these because it's something different, semi-skeletonized style, and gives you variety to what you have in your collection here. So that is a really, really good, really, really good suggestion. The ghost. I think that's a ghost of Yiddish. I want to say the ghost of Yiddish. Hey, Mr. Gottlieb had a few hours today to hit all the boutiques in London. Patek, Rolex, Watches of Switzerland, Cartier, Brigade, and Journe. I'm bringing some goodies home to the U.S. Awesome, Ghost. I hope you had a great, great shopping spree. It seems like you did. Tell us what's your favorite thing. You got to tell us what you brought back. I know you don't want to say anything, but if you could share one thing that you picked up, or you're thinking about picked up, or maybe one super special experience, let us know really quickly. Diraj says the Patek Philippe 5172G is completely underrated, and I think 001, which I think is the blue dial, I agree. Let's just talk about the Brigade for a couple seconds before I run on that. Tan says he goes gold as well. Me and Tan can't wait to hit you up in Paris. I'm gonna do one day in the near future, we're gonna get a little tour going. I want to just pop in and all the original set of viewers and chat guys, and we're gonna have good experience. I do think rose gold is the way to go, but a steel isn't bad as well. And let's just wrap it up with 5172G-001. So this is gonna be the blue dial Patek Philippe chronograph, and let's just check retail pricing right now. And if you have never held one of these in person, they're just amazingly beautiful watches. The case has these beautiful steps on them. The dial is a nice and matte finish, so it has a really good texture to it. So it gives you a little bit of that vintage aesthetic while still being a modern watch. A lot of character all over, even where the lugs are attached to the case. They're attached in a beautiful way. You have those nice little steps there. Really, really beautiful watch, and I think a great wearable piece. Really nice movement. Gives you a lot of those old school Lumania vibes as well. The price point is $92,336. $92,336. $92,336. The retail prices are just too high. It's too high. And it's not Patek's fault, it's everybody's fault. Watchflation. That's my new t-shirt is gonna be the Watchflation t-shirt. So this is definitely a watch I could not tell people to buy on the primary market because $93,000 plus your local sales tax, you're getting very close to a six-figure watch. I think this is a great watch. I don't know if I'd call it a six-figure watch unless it's in a limited edition variation. Let's look on Chrono24 in the US. You can find one for $54,000. Let's see if we know the dealer. Wrist Aficionado, so those are good guys, right? $54,000 original boxing papers. This one's from 2020. I dare say, if you offered them $52,500 on a wire, they might sell it to you. I don't know if they would, but they might sell it to you for $52,500. So if I can get something for $54,000, because it's on Chrono, right? So you got to pay the Chrono fees and all that. So you back out the Chrono fees, you probably are at $52,000, even $51,000 and change, right? So there's no way that I could pay $92,000 plus for this watch. I love this watch. I think this is a great watch. I think the wearability is just out of this world. But I think the love is just not there. Criminally underrated, this watch. I do think you could just get. So what's the salmon dial going for right now? These are the casualties of the pandemic market. You know, watches that traditionally, like if you went to CQ, who just started working Sun Pack in 2016, and say, hey, we got a bicompax chrono coming out. There's gonna be a salmon dial. There's gonna be really cool blue dial. It's gonna be in a little bit of a larger size case, right? Right? So it's gonna be a little bit of a larger size case. I would say these would be like unobtainium. You wouldn't be able to get these. It would be like 30% over retail watches. 60 grand right here, right? And let's see what the lowest one on the salmon is. So even the salmon versus the blue, the premium isn't that crazy. And I think these are both killer watches. If these are watches that are your vibe, right? Let's see. So 54, the lowest on the blue, and the lowest salmon is around 59.60. Again, you know, and these are from good. Who has this? These are from good dealers, right? Burdeen's, you know, Burdeen's up in Chicago. These are good people, 60,000. Again, if you hit these guys on the wire, they're going to get you in, you know, the 58, 59, something like that. So it's really hard for me to say pay the 92 plus tax. You know, this is one of those situations where you have to know your value. You know, and what I mean is, like, if you're somebody who's willing to pay 92,000 plus sales tax for this watch, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that at all, as long as you know your value. You know that you're being valued in the establishment you're spending this money with. They understand that your goals and your strategy for what you like to collect short term and long term, and everybody's aligned in the situation. So it's not like you're just burning profit. You can like make believe in your head that you're investing in your, you know, your collecting future and things like that. But yeah, the prices, the delta is insane right now. It's really insane. All right, guys, I want to thank everybody for the chat. We did make it to an hour solo, the first solo show in a long time. We'll be back tomorrow. Maybe we do the blacked out. I think we do the blacked out watch episode. Shout out to Raj and shout out Ozzy Osbourne. Rest in peace. Yes, I think tomorrow we'll do a blacked out watch episode. All blacked out watches in remembrance for the Dark Prince, Ozzy Osbourne. Rest in peace. We're also gonna do a Singapore watch episode. To Raj and Vimal, you guys produce it together. Figure out which date is a proper date. We should do that show. And yeah, comment, like, subscribe. You guys are the best chat and community out there. And remember, if you need truly independent watch advice, go check out CQTheWatchGuy.com. You can see all my services there. If you need somebody to just be a third base coach, you're about to make a decision whether you're buying or selling, and you just need some assistance or some just truly independent advice on which way you should go, feel free to give me a call. If you just need a watch guy to talk to, just shoot the shit with, just talk watches to, who has no incentive except just your best interest in hand, give me a call. If you see all these cool watches popping out all the time and you just have no idea how to get your hands on them because you live in a retail desert, let's call it, or you just live someplace where you just can't get hands on, give me a call. Happy to give you a free consultation and help you figure out ways to enhance and amplify your collecting experience. Anyways, guys, I'm CQ the Watch Guy. You guys are the best chat out there. Love you guys so much, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.